Welcome everyone to Build Wealth with Araceli. I'm a real estate investing coach and helping people going into real estate transactions, whether it's in Canada or in the US. And today I have a special guest. He's a real estate investor and he's going to tell us his story. Lev Cooper, can you please introduce yourself and tell me what you're currently doing in real estate?
Yeah, I'm Lev Cooper from Williston, North Dakota. I've been in oil and gas space for the last 14 years, and started out working on the rigs, workover rigs, as what they call a roughneck. And
Okay, well, that's nothing to do with real estate.
yeah, really just worked my way up all the way up to management, and then about 7, 8 years ago, I was asked to buy out the business owner and took over the business.
Nice.
And when as I became a business owner, I started realizing I wanted to learn more and started working on personal development and wanted to learn, how do you create wealth? Because originally I thought, oh, if I become a business owner, I'm going to have all this money coming out of everywhere.
Yeah.
And I realized that it wasn't that easy, and it wasn't that everything looked, that everybody made it look like. So as I started searching for other ways of creating wealth, I found Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, found Grant Cardone, and started really studying the system, and understood that, people from all walks of life created wealth. And they say 90% of millionaires created wealth through real estate. So that was my main peak of interest, of thinking, wow, this is a lane I wanted to go down to create wealth. And so I've been heavily into real estate here the past 5 years. My wife and I started with a fix and flip home we bought, and we started renting it out, got another rental house. And then I realized it was hard to scale rental homes. And that's when I started studying Grant Cardone and realized that, the apartment buying and working in syndications, and the more people that work together, and collaboration, they say, is a new currency. So by more people working together, we could do bigger, better deals and less hands-on management. So it's been a great journey over these past few years. We bought besides our single family homes, we got into some downtown mixed use space with some apartments and office spaces. And then last fall, we ended up closing on a 48 unit apartment complex here in Williston, North Dakota.
Oh, that's amazing. So one of the things that, we want to bring to the audience is kind of like a little bit of the segue. What was the deciding factor for you to go into multifamily? What did you say, okay, well, I done the fix and flip, I done the rentals. What happened that you said, okay, what it's so interesting about multifamily that you wanted to just get into it? So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So with the single family, it's exciting at first. You get in and it's like, hey, this is awesome. You put a tenant in there and it's paying for your rent, or for your mortgage, and
Yeah.
you're making a little bit of extra money on the side, and it's cool. But then I'm constantly in there, things break. I'm in there fixing things, and I'm doing all this extra work, and I get to a point where I'm like, and I'm trying to run my business still. So I'm like, is my time really worth all this extra stuff? And I'm like,
Yeah.
there wasn't a whole, we're making a couple $100 extra over the mortgage. So it was like, there wasn't money to throw a management company in there. And so when I started studying the multifamily and realized that the more doors, for one, there's more security, because, if you have one unit, one house, and they move out, you go from 100% occupied to zero.
Yeah.
With, if we went up to 100 units, if 10 people move out, you're still at 90% occupied. So I realized that I could do more, use less of my time, and I love the collaboration thing too, because I always want to do things with other people. And so the fact that, hey, a bunch of us can get together, put our
Yeah.
money in the property. We can still pay a management company to come in and manage the day-to-day operations of it. And then we all receive the returns of the investment. And it just is, it's such a great flow of everything, how it works out. So
Yeah, so this is actually a great segue because you started with something, like most of us do a fix and flip and do a rental, and then you started to graduate. If you were going to start all over again, would you done it the same way or would you change something?
no, I would say the number one thing I would do is get educated first. What we did first was, I guess, probably just, buy the house and,
Yeah.
had the idea of fix and flip. It looks easy. It looks great. There is obviously a lot of work to it. There's a lot, and all that comes with learning curve as well. But everything's about education. So as soon as I started to invest in myself, investing in the education, I was able to broaden my horizon of what I could do. And, most people think there's no way I could get into, 48 units right away. But for me, I was able, as soon as I found this property, and it was, we did a lot of work to get there, finding the property, making sure all the numbers worked out right, lining up the debt. And then when I brought investors in, they were able to, receive the same benefits as I was.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of those investors started with $50,000. And so, most people, think, oh, well, I don't have millions of dollars to buy multifamily.
Yeah.
I have to start with a single family home. And so there's lots of ways to get there. Obviously everybody has their different skills, their different strengths, but whether, if they only have $5,000 to start, maybe they have to start with, doing some, get creative financing or whatever, but there's more money out there looking for a good place to put it rather than good deals, so the idea is that, working with people and people working together, people can create better deals and do greater things together.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. If people don't have a lot of money, what I always recommend is people to get into the space somewhere or another. Like you can become a realtor, you can be a property manager, you can do some repairs if you're handy, right? And then just kind of explore what is your place because it all depends on skills as well, right? Like you cannot just jump in and it's like, I don't even know what a hammer looks like, right? So it's all gradual and depending on your own skills and time frame as well. That some people have a lot of time there, maybe they're retired, but they just don't want to do any more things. So maybe something more passive like you're doing right now, it's better. And I think we all kind of graduate as we move along the ladder, like, okay, this is what I've done so far. I want to move to something else. Now, if you were going to start all over again and you're going to give advice to somebody that hasn't started, that they haven't really taken the lead, what would you tell them?
I would say invest in themselves, invest in education, and start learning all the different routes there is into real estate. I mean, whether it's fix and flips, wholesaling, multifamily, but taking in as much knowledge as you can. I mean, whether it's free YouTube videos, books, courses, classes, I mean, and really, realistically, people could get started with no money as far as, free education on YouTube. There's tons of
Oh, absolutely.
great advice out there. And
Yeah.
as far as starting, even with no money, I've got a great story. There's a kid I met here a couple of years ago in our real estate club. He was 19 years old. He didn't have a lot of money. But there was a group of people putting together a big project. It was, I believe, I want to say it was $150 million project.
Wow.
But they wanted a hands-on on-site manager, and they asked, "Hey, is anybody willing to move down to this property and manage it on site for us?" This kid was 19 years old, and he had worked with his dad. His dad was a property manager, and he went out and he volunteered. He packed up his stuff. He moved down to be part of that, and he instantly became a general partner on this. And I don't quote me on this, but I believe it was a $150 million project.
Yeah.
That now all of a sudden he was part of, just because he was in the right room with the right people and he had that experience of of working
Yeah.
with his dad as a child. So there's multiple lanes, like you said, and it's just really finding which one you're comfortable with, which one
Yeah.
you enjoy doing, and what you want to do. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, it's going to require a lot more sweat equity and adding value. It's all about seeing how you can add value to something.
I think you really said something very important here because I have seen a lot of people that they're very enthusiastic about doing this because of the results. Like, the results are great. You can create passive income. You can create chunks of money if you do flips. But the actual work that is in between, that is the thing that is people don't really understand what it takes. And all of it is skills. Like if you're going to learn how to play the piano, you give me the thing, I'm not going to play it, right? Like it's just not happening. You need to do. And one of the things about real estate that I believe is true is that you need to get your hands dirty. You need to be there in the trench doing it yourself because there is really no other way to learn it. A lot of people that they want to do it virtually. I really don't agree too much on that. What do you think on that
I,
regards?
I agree with you 100%. I struggle with joining things virtually because joining virtually, I am constantly consumed by my time. I'm doing other things. I'm not focusing and giving it energy. Being in person, just you get a lot more value. But also the other factor is the networking part. There is so many great people. If you can get to a networking event anywhere, it's just so great to be able to have that in-person meeting, getting to know people. And like I said, as people talk and get to know each other, they start to recognize strengths and weaknesses. And if you can realize, hey, this person has a great strength, and that's my biggest weakness, and vice
Yeah.
versa, that's where
Oh,
people can collaborate. It's incredible.
I am totally with you. I think real is, being real, whether it's with the property or with people. So I'm totally with you because there is no way, believe me, I have got pictures from somebody saying, "Oh, this property is great." And you look at it and it said, "Oh, well, it looks okay." And you go to the property, it's like, what happened here? Like this is not the same property, right?
Yeah,
And
and as far as the property itself, it's like there is definitely brokers or whoever the marketing people are do a very good job of making properties look great on their marketing side. So I've seen a lot of, I agree. I've seen a lot of properties that look incredible on the pictures.
yeah,
They're very professional photographers. But yeah, you get to the site in person, and it's not the same. And also, even just knowing the area, the demographic, the location, and seeing because there's sometimes a good looking property and it's in a rough neighborhood, and you get
yeah.
there and it's not. It's you're like, well, I always like to say, would I want to live here myself? Would I be comfortable living here? Would I be comfortable having my family there? And if not, then usually it's not a property or a location I want to get into because if I don't feel good or safe there, or my wife wouldn't feel safe there, then I don't want to be, there as well.
Exactly. And you know what? This also not only happens with the people that are selling the property, but the people that are repairing their property. I had a really, really bad experience when I started when I had properties in Ohio and I was living in Canada and the property manager was sending me pictures and it looked okay. And I was trying to zoom in the pictures and everything. And I just really couldn't tell. And then when I was there, oh my goodness, it was just awful, awful, awful. Like they took it in such an angle that you couldn't see the rest of the house. And that's what is not only important to see the property, but also to with the person that you're dealing with, right? To make sure that you trust them, that they're doing the right kind of job. And you don't get that until you create those relationships and you create those relationships over time in person most of the time, right? So I think we are, agreeing in what are the basics of having a successful real estate investing business. I really do appreciate you being here. Can you tell us about the current project that you're working on? I think that everybody would like to know.
Yeah, and it ties in very well with what you just spoke about, with it being in person. So um, I'm actually working with a group of guys that we had. So we had done a 18 unit apartment complex together here a couple years ago in Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
And we've stayed in contact. Um, one of the guys called me the other day and said, "Hey, what do you know about Williston, North Dakota?" And I said, "Well, I live here. I'm here every day. I know it very well." He said, "Great. We just got an accepted offer on this industrial property there. The numbers look great. Would you be willing to go check it out?" These guys are buying these industrial properties all over the country. They are, they know all the numbers. They know what they should be. Where I've been focusing most on multifamily, so I don't know all the specifics of
Yep.
the type of properties. But now, since we've had a prior relationship, they have the experience there, and now they are able to have somebody boots on the ground that they know, trust, that we've worked together before, and we have a great relationship because over the years we've met up with each other at real estate events, and now we're able to, you're able to do so much more on a national level. None of these guys are in Williston, North Dakota, and most people in these bigger communities aren't from smaller areas like me.
Yeah.
But we have a booming economy right now. There's tons of growth coming into our area, tons of job growth. Buildings are going up. There's a huge demand for both housing and shop space. So the timing of getting this property is phenomenal.
That's amazing. And you really touch on many different things here because, first of all, you are local to North Dakota, and then somebody's coming in, and now you're able to partner. So you have the experience of the area, and these people are having the experience on that particular type of building that they want to buy. So this is a great combination. So you don't really have to be an expert in one particular thing, but you can partner up with people that have complementary skills that they will work out into one big deal, this is fantastic. And this is also for people in the audience that they want to get started. And because I live in Canada, the real estate is crazy, crazy expensive. So that's why they're looking to go into the US. I invest heavily in Ohio, but I'm looking in other markets as well right now. And that is how you can get yourself started. You need to have definitely somebody that is local, that is going to point you in the right direction. And the reason is because you really shortcut that learning curve. Because when I came into Ohio, it took me like probably about a year, like just going around the areas, knowing here this neighborhood and this neighborhood. Now I really know it very well, but it took me a while to get there. But that is one way for you to shortcut it. Just maybe collaborate with somebody that is local to the area that you want to invest in. And of course, creating the relationships, I think that's probably the biggest. I think that's the biggest plus for me. I love being with people too. And that's what I do coaching as well, because all these people come in and it just creates this environment that is just people that want to do what you want to do in real estate. And I came from engineering, so most people, they're not investors. So it's like a foreign language when you're talking to people, right? I don't know if that happened to you as
Yeah.
well.
So, well, as far as the networking side, I talk about the importance of networking. You say you enjoy networking with people. I will say that for me personally too, I actually in the beginning I struggled a lot with networking because I do consider myself an introvert. My first few real estate events I kind of kept to myself. But as I started to work with other people, they started reaching out to me, and it just helped. It helps build your confidence. The more you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to get out there and meet people, talk to yourself,
Yeah,
get uncomfortable, like regardless how you feel or what you think about, what you look like going and talking to people. You just got to get out there and do it because those
exactly.
relationships, you never know, even if it's just a friendship or
Yeah,
a acquaintance, you never know where down the road one of you can help each other out. And that's, like I said, it's all about adding value. Everything you do in the real estate world should be about adding value to somebody somewhere. And when you know people in different areas, you can help
uh-huh.
people in those routes. Like for me, when I got into it, I didn't want to invest in my area locally because I was interested in the bigger markets like Dallas and
Yeah.
or Texas, Florida, Georgia. I was looking at all these areas, so I was able to work with people in those areas because I knew people in each of those areas. And as the whole market shifted, and I seen interest rates went up, and the markets got tougher and tougher to work with, and there was less and less deals. I started seeing more and more deals emerge in my area,
Yep.
and now I've had people reaching out to me and say, "Hey, what about these? Look like great deals out there." So, yeah, it's exciting working together with people. Is the way they really is. There's a reason they call it the collaboration is new currency because it
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Okay, so tell us, Lab, if somebody wants to contact you because they found this interesting, or they just maybe want to know more about the market in North Dakota, how do they contact you? What's the best way
Uh,
to get you?
I would say reach out to me on, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I can also, if there's a way to share my contact, my
Yeah, absolutely.
number
All of
over.
this would be
Yep.
actually in the comments,
Awesome.
but I just wanted you to tell the audience what's the best way to reach you, because we're not everywhere, right?
Yep.
Facebook,
Yep.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. All the
I'll leave.
information, yeah, will be in the comments. So whatever way you want to contact Lev, just make sure that you tell him that you watch him here and Build Wealth with Araceli. And this was actually an amazing talk, because the more I talk with people and the more I talk to real estate investors that are doing deals and how they came into real estate, the more I really embrace the same fact. Like, everything that I think in my head is pretty much exactly what everybody else is thinking. I really do appreciate very much you coming here to talk to us and give us your story. And I wish you much success with your current project. I hope you can come and talk to us about it when you have it already ready to go, and tell us what the outcome was. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having me. Great speaking with you. I love these conversations. Like you said, it is great connecting and hearing, people have synergies and the same, regardless of your background, same ideas of coming up in the real estate world. And, so it's great. Thank you again.
okay. Well, thank you very much, Lev, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye.